Nashville, but she walks the beaches down in Florida sand. A mother and wife, a daughter, a sister, trying hard to do the best she can. She found her voice with a heavy heart, looking for purpose with trembling hands. And giving this all a new start, moving ahead, speaking for ones who came. And she says, I am who I am, I'll stand my ground. Even when the nights get long and rough, you'll hear my sound. She'll be speaking for the ones unheard, 'cause she's got a caring heart that won't be turned. Her mama fought cancer while she was searching for stories that needed a gentle voice. We saw summer's name and felt the heart ache and tried to bring light where there was no choice. And when she heard of Sebastian, her sadness rose. She prays for truth through the noise. She'll follow wherever the story goes, seeking their dignity, a child's joy. She says, I am who I am, I'll stand my ground. Even when the nights get long and rough, you'll hear my sound. She'll be speaking for the ones unheard, 'cause she's got a caring heart that won't be turned. She said, I am who I am, I'll stand my ground. Even when the nights get long and rough, you'll hear my sound. She'll be speaking for the ones unheard, and she's got a caring heart that won't be turned.
Well, hello there, everybody. Sorry about that. Hello. Welcome in, H. Davis. Hello. Good to see you. Let's see who else we have here. H. Davis said, pray for me. Many prayers to you. Hello, Chuchi. Hello, good to see you. Yes, please hit that button. Hey, Holly. Hello. Let's see. If you like Smiley's content, please subscribe, y'all. Absolutely. Please subscribe. Hit that thumbs up. I appreciate you. Hello, Chloe. Hello. Welcome in. Everybody. Be a ladybug. Hello there. Good to see you. I hope everybody's doing good tonight. December 1st, 2025. 9:20 now p.m. Central Standard Time. And I hope everybody is doing wonderful. I told y'all I'd be back. We're going to get our feet a little bit wet here. This is definitely more than one show here. There is a lot to this, and I'm going to dig in it, and we're just going to learn together, I guess. I heard of this case a long time ago when it happened, but I was not in YouTube or on True Crime or anything like that. And it kind of slipped my mind. But there is a lot of interesting things here, and we're going to go over it. And you're getting a snowstorm tomorrow. Oh, my goodness. School is already canceled. 5 to 10 inches. Oh, my word. Well, since I talked to y'all, I told you it looked like it was going to rain. It started raining, and it's raining and cold. It's snowing in West Tennessee. Well, I hope everybody gets a beautiful first snow anyway. I hope you don't get a lot of ice or all those type of things. That's no good. But a nice 1 or 2 snow is not so bad, right? So, what else y'all been up to today? Yeah, this is my second time live. First one was just a little bitty thing. Hey, Lisa. Hello. Good to see you. Okay, I'm glad you're here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you very, very much. You got to dig. Oh, you got to dig it out. You got to dig out. Oh, that's not good. Choo-choo, that's not good. I'll just go out there and build you a snowman. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. Y'all build you a snowman. Watch that yellow snow. Go out there and make you some snow cream. Live a little bit. And don't tell me you don't know what no snow cream is. Honey, some of y'all tell me you don't know. Some of you told me you never heard of it. But anyway, I hope everybody stays safe. Don't go out unless you have to. Hey, Gypsy, good to see you. When your son goes to college, I'm going south. Going south. Hit that road, girl. Hit the road. Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more. I don't know. I mean, we're a little bit cool where we're at. And sometimes it gets cold here. Further on down south you go, the hotter it stays all year. So if you're going south, go south. Go south, honey. Hey, Rap. Hello, hello. Oh, I miss seeing you. You was at 9 inches. Oh my goodness. Lord have mercy. See, I've been really missing the weather. I really have. Yeah. So if you haven't seen, I don't know how many of you, put a 1 in here if you ever heard about this, because it is an interesting topic. And once I started going over it the other night with Annabella, me and Annabella was going over it, and we were just talking about a clip. And then, good God, it was 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning before we got finished, honey. It was so much. Hello, Jen. Good to see you. Hello, hello, hello. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Today has been one hell of a Monday, I'll tell you that. I've been behind on everything I've done today. I don't know about y'all, but Monday, oh, Lord, I hadn't had a Monday like this in, I don't even know when. I hadn't really accomplished nothing today, but I'm here, okay? I'm here. Just saying. So, yeah, I wanted to go over this case, and I wanted to dig deep in it, and I know it's an old case. It happened in 1995. Well, that was her first victim, and she was such a young girl, very, very young. She had accomplices. Hey, Joanne. Hello. You know, her history was horrific. Her growing up and stuff like that. The victims, they all come from different worlds. It's a lot. It is a lot on this case. And then I started looking, and I saw clips here and there, and I'm like, I'm going to cover it, because I'm going to cover it from head to toe and everything that I can in between. I'm not saying I will get everything in quickly or anything like that, but I'll do the best I can. I'll try to go as slow as I can, because it's also historic. I hate to say that with victims and stuff like that, so don't take it the wrong way. But she's also She was, you know, a very young girl, a woman put on death row in Tennessee. And she should have been, in my opinion. I used to didn't believe in the death penalty. I didn't understand taking one life after taking another, but now I'm for it. Go for it. I'm not the one pulling the plug anyway. You did it to yourself, right? But anyway, I'm not here, as my description said, to glorify anybody. And I certainly am not taking up for her, because I'm not. I'm for the victims. And tonight we're going to talk first, I think, about the victim and kind of bring that in. But this happened, and she got an execution date. Now, she had some execution dates already, and they were put back. She's out of time. Okay, she's out of time. And if she is put to death, and pretty much all of her stuff's run out there, she can do a few more things. But if she's put to death, she will be the first woman in Tennessee, they say, in over 200 years, who was literally put to death. So we'll see. It's a lot to it. There is trigger warnings. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm going to try to be as respectful as I can, because I have to remember we don't ever know who the family or friends are watching in the bushes. Hey, Nana. Hello. Good to see you. She is evil. She's evil. Nana, so you're from very close to where all this happened. Do you remember this? Do you remember this when it happened? Just curious. Yeah, it's a lot. But I'm going to try to be, as respectful as I can. You do. Yeah, she's evil, isn't she, Nana? So glad. So glad. Jen said, Christina Gale Pike, Krista Gale Pike, convicted. That's right. And if y'all don't know the story, let me put it up here, and I'll try to tell it the best I can. Jen probably remembers it. There's a lot of people in here that probably remember it. A lot of people probably remember it, but it didn't really come back out until they gave her execution date out in, I think it was the very end of October, and it just started coming out. And so people's kind of talking about it again, but I really wanted to dig deep. There was tons and tons and tons of things I come across. We will watch some videos. We're going to talk about it. Tomorrow we'll get into it more. Like I said, today has been a crazy day. You think people forgot about it? You think people forgot about it? I don't know that people forgot about it. I think people might have forgot about the victim, Nana, and that's the sad part. Because the victim should never be forgotten. And she's evil. And she didn't learn her lesson. And I want to say this, and I want to stress this. When we do get into the videos, because they try to say, hey, Karen, they tried to say she had a mental illness. Maybe she did. Maybe she does. Maybe she's evil and mental. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. But I think when you look at her and you see her, I think just by looking at her and hearing her talk, to me, in my opinion only, I'm trying to say this right. Hey, Kimbo, okay, let me put it this way. She don't look mental. Not that there's a look on it. That's not what I mean. She's a beautiful girl. I think she's really pretty. She's ugly on the outside for everything she done. I'm sure she'd make the victim's family want to puke, okay? But I think she's very pretty. Well, maybe not so much no more. I did see a picture of her before I come on here that was like, oh, yeah, that happened. That happened with age. That happened with death row. But Hearing her talk, I think she's very intelligent. But hearing her talk and some of the things she said, she's very evil. And I mean evil. And when I tell you, in my eyes, she's a monster, that's what I mean. And I'm not going to sugarcoat that. Krista Gail Pikes, you know, her first crime that anybody know about was January 12th, 1995. That was the night that she lured her victim. And by all accounts, Colleen is a victim. Rest in peace. Blessings to her family. I'm probably saying her name wrong, but Colleen Slimmer. We'll just call them by their first or last names. Whatever I can say. I'm Smiley. I'm just me, y'all. Uh-oh. And I'm dropping everything. But she and her co-conspirators, they lured Colleen in the woods near the University of Tennessee, on campus in Knoxville, and they tortured her. They tortured her for over 30 minutes. They carved a pentagram into her chest. Trigger warnings. They crushed her skull. And Krista took a piece of her skull for a souvenir. She carried it for a souvenir. She's evil, sickening, sadistic, all the things. That was her very first known violent criminal act. And it wasn't spontaneous. The prosecution proved in court that it was a planned act and that it was a premeditated act. And Colleen suffered. There's no way around it. Hey, Angel. Hello. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. There's no way around that. I didn't get it in tonight, but the other night when I was going over it with Annabella, some things we were reading that the victim was still talking, when she was so many times with a box cutter. I can't imagine. And this little girl right here, who was a little girl at the time, in my opinion, she said at one point in time, I don't think I have it on tonight's clips, any of them, but she said it herself. She did her a favor. She did her a favor. How evil. How evil. Well, what makes this case especially significant now is that Pike was only 17 going on 18 at the time when she killed her, when she killed Colleen. And she bragged about it. She bragged about it to so many people afterwards. She kept a piece of her skull as a trophy. And, within weeks she was arrested. She was sentenced as the youngest woman ever sentenced to death in the U.S. That's in the U.S. And Krista Pikes her, like I said, her first known crime was 1995, but she didn't stop there. She went on to try to put a shoestring around somebody's neck. It didn't unalive them, but it almost did while she was in prison. And she did it for meanness. She's very evil, Reba. Absolutely. So I want to talk about that. She was charged later that year, but now they gave her her execution date. So one reason it's important is because if they do put her she does get that date and they kill her, then she'll be the first woman in Tennessee in over 200 years, they say. So that's a big deal, and it will be a big deal going forward. Hey, Bo. Hello. Good to see you. So I'm diving deep into this case, and it's haunted Tennessee for almost 30 years or more, and Krista Gail Pike is her name. The story is brutal. It's emotional, and it's one that still raises a lot of questions today. Krista Pike is the youngest woman, like I said, to ever be sentenced to death in Tennessee and, the U.S. So she now they announced an official execution date for September 30th, 2026. She has a little bit of time to try to get right with the Lord. That's what I say. In 1996, she did this evil thing, and I'm just going to dive into it. She had accomplices. We'll get into all that. All of it. In these lives that we're going to do, because it will be more than one, we'll talk about everything, and you'll see how interesting this case is. You'll see why it matters, and you'll see all the things after it's all laid out and put together. This isn't just a rumor. It's not speculation. The date is set by the Tennessee Supreme Court, and unless something major changes, like a clemency decision, a last-minute appeal, or a stay, that's the end of the road for her, Jack. That's the end of the road. The state of Tennessee plans to carry out her execution. And the victim's mother, Colleen, we'll see interviews. I don't know if it'll be tonight or not, but we'll see interviews. Her mother has been begging for this from day one. That's what she wants. She wanted it to hurry up and get done. She didn't want to be having to wait this long. And one reason? They still have a piece of her daughter's skull in evidence. It's been decades, and Colleen's mother can't get any peace. That's horrible. I don't think what most people realize is it is rare, very rare in Tennessee to actually schedule an execution, but especially for a woman. So this date coming up, it's a major thing. Tennessee has not executed a woman since 1837. Pike's been on death row since 1996. Her appeals, they have been argued. Her attorneys argued that she had trauma, mental illness. She had brain damage at an early age. I'll let y'all be the judge of that. Okay? I'm just going to try to lay out the facts here. I'm going to try not to get too emotional here. Okay? The courts still upheld the sentence, even though she was 17, 18 years old. She was 17. I think she was going on 18 when she was sentenced, but they still held up that sentence. Okay? And they're not changing their mind. They upheld that sentence. She's been through appeals. She's been through all that stuff. And recent motions, past convictions, all that in court. I got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of papers I've still got to go over from legal documents. Y'all, my eyeballs are going to really explode. No pun intended. But it's a lot of reading. It's a lot of research. It's a lot of things. But it's an interesting case. She still has the right to seek federal intervention or clemency. But the clock is ticking for her. It's ticking for her, okay? This is what I think about. Maybe I'm the one who has mental problems. I don't know. But I think about some of the kids that we search for, even like Sebastian, and, there's been others, Lori, different ones I've been involved with. They're coming on the same age she was when she did this evil to Colleen. And I think about that. These kids, some of them that are missing, that we search day and night and we pray for every day. Some of them are her age when she did this. And I guess way back then, that's what a lot of people was upset about, that she got death. But look what she did. I have no sympathy either, Lisa. Look what she did. And then look what she continued to do. All for a boy, all for jealousy. She was jealous. She was insane jealous, honey. If something wasn't normal about her, then it's because she was mentally insane, thinking she was in love with this dude, right? Jealousy was the motive in this case. That's what they said. But see, the difference in the people we look for and the difference in this, they're not out there intentionally hurting anybody. They need a voice. But this story, I think, is important, and this story needs to be told. I don't think, like Nana said, people's forgotten it. Well, I don't think a story like this needs to be forgotten. I say, wake up. See, I think she's an intentional monster. I think she was, and I think she still is, and I think she will be until the day she dies. And I don't believe she believes in God and will get down and ask for forgiveness. She was into all this Satanist stuff. You'll see. You'll see as we go along. Horrible things. Horrible things she did. She tried to kill somebody else in prison, y'all. And what she even did in the first place was horrific. I don't think she has any remorse. I don't think she ever had any remorse. The only time I saw her cry was in court when they gave her the death sentence and they was carting her ass off to prison. She's down there in Deborah K. Johnson, by the way, now. That's where she's at. What do y'all think about that? She was bad. A bad apple, bad to the bone. And I don't care what kind of childhood she had. I don't care really what was done to her. I might have cared if I knew her. Somebody maybe should have cared enough about her. But people get hurt. They get abused. They get whatever every single day. And they don't do this crap. They don't. But she did. And she chose this. And I feel like that. And I stand by that. You know, I don't think she had any remorse. I don't think she ever will. The things she said was evil. She said, we should thank, I forgot how it is exactly verbatim, but she said, we should thank, and you'll hear it in one of these videos, like, so she said, the victim ought to be glad she gave her some relief. I mean, the victim was talking, y'all, having her throat cut so many times, and she kept talking. How evil is that? And then to say something like that after the fact, that's twisted. It's very twisted. And y'all don't get it twisted that she tortured Colleen. And Colleen suffered. Again, you'll see. Don't take my word for it. Because I appreciate you all being here. And I look forward to all of you coming back. But at the same time, when you see her, she's a pretty girl. She was pretty then. She talked smart. And if you ever looked at her, you wouldn't think anything was wrong, right? All the victims wanted to do, that's right, Holly, was attend college. Absolutely. Think how many kids we send off to college every day. It's sad out there in this world. And she seemed very capable and very smart. She could have had a life. But she chose a boy. She chose hate and jealousy. She let it consume her. Again, she's truly a monster to me. Now, with that execution date on the horizon, people are asking, who is the victim? Who was Colleen Slimmer? Who was she? And that's exactly what I'm going to tell you tonight, next, because so you can understand this case, and you have to understand her, and we have to acknowledge her. She's the victim. This should have never happened to her. She must never be forgotten. But before I get started, I want to remind everyone that this live is for educational and commentary purposes. You know, you already know. And we're here to talk about facts, timelines, the impact, nothing more, nothing less. Now remember, I'm going to be doing lives going further until I'm done with this. And I'm going to dig deep. And we're going to know things that people don't tell you, that they don't go in their lives. I could talk forever. I'm just going to tell it like it is and lay it out. But you got to go back. before anything else, we do need to honor the person, Colleen, the young girl that her life was taken by this monster, and her story. Say a prayer for her. Say a prayer for her families. Because Colleen was just 19 years old. And she was a Florida girl, and she went to Knoxville. She went to Knoxville Job Corps, right? Back in those days, everybody was doing Job Corps and doing stuff like that. She wanted a new start. A lot of young people wanted a new start. They wanted to be something and make something of their lives. Don't ask me how in the hell Krista got over there, but I don't think she was thinking about doing nothing but devil worship myself. Y'all are going to hear Happy again. For those who are new to me, that's my dog. She's snoring. She's part of the crew. Thank you for putting the praying hands up, Holly. Colleen, she just wanted a new start. She wanted stability. She wanted a career. She wanted peace and her independence. You know, she was young, you know, and she wanted to do something with her life. I admire anybody who wants to do something with their life. And if you fall, you get back up and you keep going, right? But see, when she fell, she was held down. People who knew her say she was fun. She was very funny. She was very friendly, outgoing, and she trusted people too much. And she was trying to turn her own life around. She had goals. She wanted to work as a computer technologist. And she wanted to find her place in this world. She wanted to build a future, and she never really got the chance to live. Thanks to Krista. Colleen came to Job Corps for opportunity. Good opportunity, like many young people did back then in the 90s. She wanted a job, a good job. She's the one that really seemed like she had the head on her shoulders, right? She wanted skills, life skills. She wanted a home, a family. And she wanted a new environment. She didn't know she was walking into a situation where there was this jealous, crazed girl that's on my screen. Overly obsessed. And very, very dangerous and very, very violent. Where violence was simmering beneath the surface. But then guess what? It stopped simmering and it boiled the hell over. Christina Gale Pike was 17, 18 when all this happened. She was young too. But she grew up in Tennessee, and her background was full of instability. Her background was full of neglect. Her background was full of trauma. Her background was full of alleged, you like how I said that? Alleged abuse. And early exposure to dark influences. This was a very dark person right here. Who's to blame? I don't know. But she is to blame for her part in this whole mess that she's created here. And she'll have to answer to that one day, even if she got 3 hots in a cot on death row for all these years. So these two people Krista and Colleen, they came from two very, very different places. Now, Krista's teachers, they described Krista as very smart, which is what I say. They described her as very smart, but very, very manipulative. They said she was attention seeking. I can see that. I saw it in court as well. And they say she was extremely reactive. She struggled with mental health, allegedly, issues from a young age, and later doctors claimed she had a brain damage. And, I don't know about all that. Again, I'm not no doctor, but that's what they claim. I'm just telling the story, the facts of what is said and what's in legal documents. I'm not taking any YouTubers' words on these streets. We're going to lay it out here. But no, I don't care. None of that. Zero of that. None. Not a zero excuses what happened next. What she did. What she chose to do. And another thing, I don't know if she had brain damage, but I know she was pure evil. Maybe both. Maybe both. Let me just say that. And what led up to this? It was jealousy. Colleen did nothing wrong. And I never heard of such. That much jealousy. As in kids. Back then, 30 years ago. No. That's what I'm talking about. And at Jobs Corps, Krista became obsessed with her boyfriend. To Daryl Ship. We may just call him Ship. I mean, she was very obsessed and very jealous with him. And what I researched, jealousy is an understatement with this girl right here. Her jealousy was very strong, intense, and eventually dangerous. Very dangerous. Krista believed what, she wanted to believe. She did what she wanted to do. She thought Colleen was interested in this boy, man, whoever. I don't call him no man. He stood there and helped with this and watched this, and we'll get there. But she was obsessed with him. Ship. Let's just call him Ship. And that jealousy, it turned into hatred. And the hatred turned into a plan. A plan to take Colleen's life. So on the night of the crime, January 12th, 1995, this is what happened. There's many trigger warnings. I'm telling you now, hey, wait, what? There's many trigger warnings coming. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This was one of the most brutal crimes Knoxville has ever seen. It shook Tennessee. So if you need to step away, I understand. But this is what happened. Krista, Ship, and another girl by the last name Peterson, Shadala Peterson. They lured Colleen. They lured her. They made her think they were all friendly with her. And they lured her into the woods of this University of Tennessee. Okay? And they told her, We're going to smoke some weed. Hey, wasn't nothing wrong with that. That's what kids did back in them days. If weed was all the problem that we had nowadays, and you had a kid buying a nickel or dime bag 30 years ago, we wouldn't have any problems today. And I don't even smoke weed. I'm just telling you. I still say we'd be a lot better off. But that's what they were doing. They lured her back there, told her they were going to smoke some weed, and then she was brutally attacked. Now, what happened in those woods? They say they lasted over 30 to 45 minutes. Colleen was beaten. She was tortured. She was cut multiple times. She was humiliated by this disgusting pig on my screen and the other two. Okay, we'll get to them. But Krista kept a piece of Colleen's skull as a trophy, and police later found out that that was in her jacket. She was carrying it around in her jacket as a trophy. Y'all. Krista kept a piece of Colleen's skull as a trophy, which police later found in her jacket pocket. Think about that. This is the moment that really shocked the country. So that girl, she didn't deserve any of this. Colleen, she didn't deserve any of this. Now, they got caught because, well, Krista, they probably would have got caught anyway, but, you know, Krista, let me tell you what. Because Krista thought it was fun. She thought it was funny. She didn't try to hide it. Hell, she went back to Job Corps. She didn't try to hide anything. In fact, she bragged about it. She bragged about it. Is that not sick and evil? She bragged about it to other kids. She showed them, because she said that was her proof, a piece of Colleen's skull, which is disgusting. She told her classmates she bragged at what she did with zero remorse. She laughed and carried on about it. You know what else she did? She would reenact what happened to these people that she talked to it about. That's the devil. She's pure mean. She's pure evil. She basically confessed before the police even questioned her, if you think about it. But they got her. It didn't take long for Knoxville police to arrest all three of them. So it was January 15th, 1995 when the arrest happened. Krista was arrested at Knoxville. You got it, Jobs Corps. She was there. The same place where she and Colleen and the others were living and training, where she lured Colleen off. She wasn't hiding, she wasn't under any cars or in any closets. She was right there on campus, bragging, laughing, carrying on, telling on herself. But these students, they went and got help. Somebody listened and somebody called it in. And this is the part most people don't know. Christina told multiple students what she did. They don't know that, but she did. And she acted out the attack. I can't imagine acting out the attack. I can't. If she hadn't been got off the streets, she would have done this again and again, and I guarantee it. Again, she tried to already while she was locked up. But her biggest mistake was showing the piece of Colleen's skull. She said that was her proof. And bragging about it to the friends, or who she thought was friends, right? Knoxville police and investigators, they came into the LabCorp campus, and they separated Christina, Shipp, and Peterson from each other and the rest of the students. And they already had them because they already had witness statements. They already had a physical description of the fragment of the skull. They already had information, that Colleen had gone missing. The police already did their job before they even come, and it only took a couple of days, thank God. Hey, Cindy and everybody coming in. Thank you. We're doing good. I hope you're doing good, honey. And the location in the woods where this happened, and the students there said that they had seen this happening, and all of them, not they didn't see the actual crime, but they seen all of them lure her off over towards those woods. So they were witnesses, right? So when they approach Krista, they were not guessing. They already knew what happened. Hey, Daly. Hello, beautiful. I know, Joseph, right? Joseph said it makes skin crawl. That, yes, absolutely. I mean, it's not normal. Daly, I hope you had a happy Thanksgiving. I love you, and I miss seeing you. I'm glad you're in here. Thank you. But they knew something serious had happened. The police already knew. The police had already gathered evidence. It wasn't like any other. They went over there, and also they searched Christina's jacket, and guess what they found? That's right. Inside the pockets was a skull fragment, and they verified later that it belonged to Colleen. That was physical evidence right there. That pretty much sealed the deal. So you'll see them with a little bag through, I don't know, again tonight. I've got tons of stuff I'm going to show y'all. Through some of the interviews where they're carrying a little paper brown bag. Well, yeah, you can guess what it has in it. It's sickening and it's sad. Once at the police station, Krista did not deny much. Even the cops were surprised. She talked a lot. She admitted being involved, but she kind of downplayed it a little bit. The torture part, she kind of downplayed that a little bit. She blamed it on jealousy. Oh, she was jealous. Now she admitted it. She tried to shift the pieces into Shipp and Peterson, though. The boy she loved, the boy she was so jealous of, the boy she would kill for. Oh, she was ratting him out big time. She was ratting him out, right? But ultimately, she placed herself right there, and she gave herself away, and she told on herself. She had that cold, almost bragging tone, the investigators said, and they described it as very chilling. The police officially arrested her. They arrested her for first-degree murder, conspiracy, aggravated kidnapping. She showed little to no emotion during the booking. You know, Shipp and Peterson were also arrested shortly after. You know, they all went at the same time, but they shortly booked them all. And of course, she wrote on them. She wrote on them. But that didn't work either. That backfired on her ass. She was the mastermind. She came up with this whole plan. You'll hear and you'll see as we go along. This will not be the last live I'm going to do on this. I'm going to keep telling you. I'm going to be on this for a while. She stayed at LabCorp like nothing happened, bragged about it. The kids there were frightened. The young kids, they told staff. And that's how Knoxville police came about. They stepped in. They stepped up. Krista was acting like this whole thing was a big, huge lottery win. With all her bragging, you'd have thought she won $1 million on a scratch-off or something. By the way, they didn't even have scratch-offs there then, but okay. That's what I'm saying. Because that's what she acted like, right? She talked during her interrogation. She admitted her role. She's downplayed it a little bit. She was booked. She was a young girl, barely 18. The other girl, Peterson, she was 17 years old at the time. She was the first one to talk. Now, she was a little scaredy cat. Investigators separated all three of them. And Peterson immediately distanced herself from everything and everybody. And I'm going to tell you to this day, right now, all the things that I have saw and heard, I believe she's been scrubbed from the internet. We'll get there. But that's my belief. She immediately distanced herself from the killings and responsibility. She wasn't trying to take no responsibility or accountability. And Krista and Shipp, she tried to focus all the blame on them. She said Krista planned the attack. But see, she was the most believable. They believed her the most. And I will say this, she may even be in protection somewhere now. I don't know. Okay? But the police believed her. Don't get it twisted. But she told police, and it matched up with them, that Krista had been very angry at Colleen. She was angry for days. She was so jealous of her that Krista believed Colleen was after her boyfriend, Shipp. Krista said, this was another thing she said. She said she wanted to teach her a lesson. Peterson made it clear it was Krista's idea, not hers. She was crystal clear about that, actually. She said they lured Colleen into the woods. She said, this is Peterson. Peterson said the four of them, or the three of them, the four of them all went in the woods, and three of them told Colleen that they were going to smoke weed. They were going to talk things out. They were going to get away from campus and kind of hang out. But the real plan was, she told police that Krista and Shipp did this. They were responsible. And she distanced herself. And she said Colleen had no idea. The victim had no idea. Of course she didn't have no idea, or she wouldn't have went. I can guarantee you that. She was trying to do something with her life. And she come from a good family, a good upbringing, from what I can tell. Unlike Krista. She admitted walking with them. This is Peterson. She admitted walking with them, but she denied harming Colleen at all. Peterson was very specific. She said she walked out there with them. She said she stood nearby. She said she saw the argument and the first punches thrown. She said she knew things was getting out of control. But she said she told police she never touched Colleen. She said, I didn't hurt her. I didn't hit her. I didn't cut her. I didn't do anything to her. She claimed she herself, when she saw what was going on, she claimed she froze right there where she was because she was scared of Krista, this girl on my screen, and her boyfriend, Ship. And if she was telling the truth, I don't know, but I do kind of believe her. I do kind of believe that. And obviously, it don't matter what I believe or what you believe. The police believed her. They believed her. In fact, today, like I said, much of her stuff, it's almost like she was just scrubbed from the internet. Is she in protective custody? I don't know. She's not in custody. She didn't get the time like they did. She described Krista's violence in detail to the cops. Peterson told them that Krista hit Colleen over and over and over again repeatedly. She said Krista, and this is trigger warning, she said Krista stomped her over and over and over again. She said Krista cut her with a box cutter. And we know that was multiple times as well. They say Krista was enraged and laughing at the same time. She thought it was funny. This is what Peterson is saying. She said to Daryl, held Colleen down at times. See, if you look at Pike, you're going to say, well, she was a little girl, even in courts and stuff. How does she manage this? Because her boyfriend held Colleen down. That's how. While this evil person was doing all these things to her. And believe me, she was suffering and she was fighting for her life because as many times as she was cut, I'm surprised she was able to talk, but she was still talking and trying to beg for her life. All I can say is she must not have hit the jugular right away. And then she thinks, what does she think? I finally did her a favor when I did her in. That's what she said. Right? That's right, Daily. Thank you. Trigger warning. Thank you. Peterson said she saw Krista pick up a piece of the bone and put it in her pocket and brag about it all the way back to Job Corps. That detail and the details that she told, even that's what cops knew because that's what she told other students. That's what Krista had told other students. And they knew this girl was telling the truth, Peterson. And what police found during the search, we know what it was. That pretty much, about summed it up right there. Colleen's family didn't deserve that. Colleen doesn't deserve it. And how in the hell can they even to this day rest? They don't even have all of Colleen. Her mom, we're going to hear interviews with her mom, and you'll see. It's bad. It's not good. And she wanted Christina fried sooner. But Christina's finally got her death execution date. And that's what brought all this about, right? It's bringing it back out into the world. It's bringing it back up. And we're not going to forget. She said she only followed because she was scared, or she only stayed there because she was scared of Krista Pike and her boyfriend. She said she didn't want to be there. She said, but she didn't know how to stop and leave because she said she feared Krista might turn on her. I could see that. I really could. What she said was, she said Krista had a temper and she had threatened people before. I can definitely see that too. All the personal statements that she gave, Peterson, the other girl that was there, it matched all the physical evidence. It matched witness statements. It showed she did not participate in the killing. And she was also a minor. And that's why she received 1 year, I'm just saying, 1 year in juvenile detention, followed by probation. Now, what happened to her after that, I don't know yet. I hadn't got that deep into these 800 and something pages and these 200 and something pages that I have. But Peterson was the first to break. She told the truth, or at least the version that the cops believed. Now, what Daryl Shipp told police was different, or somewhat different, but it still all pointed to Krista. At that point, I believe everybody was squirming. But he admitted being there. He denied planning any of it, though. He said he did not plan the attack. He said the entire idea, came from Krista Pike. He thought they were just going in the woods to scare Colleen. Well, he was going to be a part of this bullshit that these people play. Oh, let's just scare somebody. Let's just do this real life, and then maybe they won't do that, right? So maybe he's telling the truth. I don't know. But he claimed he didn't know Krista intended to kill her. He tried to point Krista as the whole mastermind, the whole one who planned this whole thing. And he admitted, though, see, they ain't too bright. He admitted during the interrogation of holding Colleen down. Well, damn. Man, boy, weasel, you a monster too. How you gonna hold that little girl down while somebody is brutally torturing and attacking? He wasn't man enough to pull Krista Pike off of this girl? So Ship told police Colleen at least once was restrained by him, allegedly. But who are we to believe? I don't know. The police knew, though. The police knew everything. They had everything lined up beforehand. He claimed he only held her because Christina told him to. So Christina told him, or Krista, I don't know why I keep calling her Christina. Krista Pike told him to hold Colleen, right? He held her down, but he admitted it. Still, that accountability is not going to get him in heaven either. Just saying. They've got some real stuff to do. Let me tell you something, guys and girls, men and women, ladies and gentlemen. If your friends say go jump off the Empire State Building, please don't do that. Please don't. Don't be a follower. Don't do what somebody says just because. My God. And he was a man, allegedly. And because Krista Pike told him to hold Colleen, he held her. He should have been jerking Krista off, right? The first cut, when that happened, no. There was no trying to scare someone. There was not just take. And why in the hell was he there? He loved the attention. Both girls fighting over him. Well, I'm not going to speak for Colleen. She can't speak for herself. I don't know. Maybe she didn't even know. Maybe this is just a lunatic right here. But he loved it, whatever was going on. And he was part of it. But y'all don't go jumping off a bridge just because somebody tells you. These type of people, they're not your friends. They don't care about you. They don't care about anybody in your family. They don't care about your animals. They don't care about what you worked for all your life. They don't care about nothing but themselves, just like she does looking in that mirror right there. This alone made him legally responsible for the murder. And he told it himself. But he described Krista as angry, jealous, and out of control. I think the whole situation was out of control. The one who wanted to hurt her, he said that was Krista. He told investigators that Krista hit Colleen repeatedly, which lined up with what Peterson said. She cut her. Oh, and we heard it said she carved a pentagram in her. He's saying she carved a smiley face into her. Kicked her over and over again when she was down. He told them she bragged about the attack all the way back. And during the attack, he said he was shocked. But he didn't leave. He didn't help Colleen. But he was shocked. He was in shock too. And yes, it later came out Krista was in all this satanic stuff. And again, you'll see all that. But he denied cutting. He denied striking Colleen. He said he didn't ever hit her. He didn't never stab her. He didn't never do anything to her except he took accountability for holding her down while Christina Pike did all that. He tried to distance himself from the entire physical torture part. But witnesses and, Christina herself put him right back in it. Put him back in the participating. See, he denied being part of that. And guess what? The police did not fully believe him. They didn't fully believe him. Shipp told police Krista thought Colleen was flirting with him at Job Corps. He said Krista was jealous of Colleen. Krista was very controlling of him and of the whole situation. She snapped over the situation, is what he said. And he said he went along because he didn't want to piss Pike off. Really? What a loser. He tried to downplay everything, the cruelty, everything, his part. He told officers that the attack didn't last long. That was a lie, and officers knew it. They already had statements from Peterson, the other person that was literally there. They had timelines and everything from other students. They also had witness statements from what Krista told them. And it took 30 to 45 minutes. But he said it didn't take long. Hello, everybody coming in. Thank you. Aloha. Good to see you, honey. But the detectives were very skeptical of his statements, and they didn't believe him. His confession, it locked him in, is what it did. Even though he tried to make his role smaller than it was, it didn't matter. Even though he tried to blame Krista Pike, it didn't matter. Even though he tried to deny harming Colleen directly, that didn't matter because that was a lie anyway. Because if you don't call holding somebody down while somebody tortures and kills them, harming them directly, then you're the one that's mental. You're the one that's a nut job, and you're the one that needs to be locked up, and you must have brain damage. Just saying. He admitted enough, though. He admitted he was there. He admitted he restrained the victim. And he, let the attack go on. He admitted Krista intended to hurt Colleen. They knew that ahead of time. That pretty much sealed the deal and the conviction for him, right? So he got life in prison plus 25 years. Life in prison plus 25 years. Let's get to Little Miss right here. Little Miss Krista. They said she walked into the police station calmly. She sat back in the chair. I want to see that. I know somebody's got it out there. But they said she sat back in the chair. She acted relaxed, and she didn't seem scared. Even though she was a young girl, And after what she just did, she didn't seem scared. Right? They said she smiled at times. She showed no panic. She was not in a panic. One investigator said it felt like she actually wanted to be there. Kind of reminds me of Megan Boswell. Remember how she walked out to those? She walked herself into the cop station, and I think she went over there just to keep talking to them. I mean, that's just me, myself, and I. But, during that whole ordeal. And then she told them she's going out the back door and went around and talked to the news. So I think Krista somewhat like her. And I think Megan's somewhat like Krista, if you really want to think about it. Two monsters. But this monster right here even chilled the investigators. And they've seen plenty, I'm sure. They said she didn't appear remorseful. They said she didn't cry. They said she didn't ask for an attorney. And that she was almost proud. Now, I can see that. That's how I see her so far, proud. I don't know what y'all think, but that's how I see, or I see how she was. Maybe she's not like that to this day. But very cold, no remorse. That's how I see her. Krista did not wait for questions. She began talking. She talked on her own. She spit it out right away, real quick. For example, the detective asked her, Christina, do you know why you're here? She said, yeah, I guess because of what happened to that girl. She didn't deny anything. She didn't ask what they meant. So she by age was a kid herself. They say she had brain damage, but where? I think she's very smart. You're going to see that when we watch videos. She didn't ask what they meant. She acknowledged the murder immediately. She admitted the fight started over jealousy. She admitted all that. She told police she believed Colleen wanted Tredero. Okay? I hope y'all are teaching your kids, your men, your boys, and your girls. A man, a boy, a girl, a woman, a kid, a teenager, whatever, ain't worth nobody's life, okay? She told them Colleen had been messing with her. She tried to lay the blame on the victim at this point. She said she had enough of it and she wanted to handle it. See, she didn't think what she was going to get, what that judge was going to give her, I'll tell you that. Or she wouldn't have been popping off like that. She never said Colleen attacked her first, but she admitted she was confronted once. Wow. We see that every day. And if it don't stop, somebody's going to end up just like this. And people's going to end up right where this girl is right here as well. Just saying. Colleen, she trusted them. She followed them. Krista described it all so casually, like she was discussing a normal day, the police said. They said she didn't show any shame, no fear, no remorse. She She admitted she hit Colleen. She admitted she kicked her. She admitted she fought with her. But what she was trying to leave out was the worst parts. She didn't really bring those up voluntarily. I think she knew better. She knew right from wrong. So I don't know how anybody's saying how she sat on death row. She was a kid. She had brain damage. She had this. Let me tell you something. You're going to see she knows right from wrong. She knew right from wrong then. She knows right from wrong now. She knew right from wrong years later when she tried to tie that shoestring around that girl's neck in prison. She would have did it again. The police already knew the details from Peterson and witnesses and the other story from the boyfriend and all that. They knew everything. All the details and stuff was horrific. They were awful. At first, she said she didn't have a knife. She did try to lie. She said she didn't have a knife. Well, in all fairness, someone's going to say, well, yeah, she had a box cutter. That may be even fucking worse. But later, she said she got cut herself when she was trying to fight. That was a major slip on her part, honestly. Detectives knew where them cuts come from, and they knew they were deliberate, and they knew it was because she deliberately cut over and over Colleen. She defended herself by saying she started it, she came at me, but again, no evidence, zero, none, supported that. She tried to blame the victim blame. You know how that goes? Victim blame, victim shame. We see it every day. Krista told police Colleen kept running her mouth. Oh my God. If people just don't stop running their mouth, I'm just going to take them out and torture them, and I'm going to lure them. And really? See that every day too. Boy, y'all need to take notice. I think it's important, again, to get this out there. Like Nana said, she thought some people had forgot about it. She thought everybody had forgot about it. Well, when you come across it again and you have a platform and you can put it out there and you can remind people of the evil and the devils and what really happens in this world, and there's even a small chance, then that's what you should be doing with your platform. Oh, I know it's boring. It's not drama. And it's terrible. But these are the things we need to know. She shouldn't stop, talking, or she didn't stop talking. She kept talking. And actually, one time the police was shocked because not only did she show zero empathy, she would smile sometimes. She would kind of giggle a little bit. I mean, say what? When they asked her about the bone piece that the witnesses reported, which they already had, by the way, when they asked her about that, she didn't deny it. She actually admitted it. She admitted all that. So they asked her, did you take anything off of her? And Krista said, just a little souvenir. I say again, and we'll see. I say she was pretty smart. She wasn't, she was dumb, but she could have had a good head on her shoulders. She knew right from wrong. She knew the difference. And if you look at her, you wouldn't believe that they're saying, oh, she has brain damage. Oh, she has mental illness. Oh, she has this. Oh, she has that. And even if she does, it's not an excuse. I don't even care about all that. The things she done, the things she said. And all this was organized. She was unapologetic. She, never acted horrified, except for when I said I've seen her in court when they toted her ass off to prison. And the judge gave her some harsh talking to. Oh, she was crying for her mommy then. The mommy that was mean to her, the mommy that, allowed her daddy to abuse her. That mommy, she was calling for her then. So the police said Krista laughed. They said she smiled. She would shrug her shoulders. And she acted like she had no worries in this whole entire world, that she seemed very proud of what she had done. And they said it was so deeply disturbing, they will never, ever, ever forget it. One investigator said she wasn't scared at all. She enjoyed talking about it. He said she enjoyed talking about it. That's what I was just telling Annabella the other night. I have had contact with a real serial killer, face to face, touch, face, touch. And one thing I can tell you, people like her, they like to talk about victims, and they'll tell you pretty much anything you want to know because they like to relive it. Hey, funny face Brenda. Hello. It's okay, honey. I appreciate you being here. I try to put my little thing out. Sometimes I don't know why it don't work, but I try to put it out. They said she wasn't scared, and she seemed to think she could explain everything away. Well, that part on maybe she was a kid, maybe I can understand that, but she was just too smart for her own age, if you ask me. She thought she would only get a few years. It would be okay. She's a badass, bad to the bone bitch. She could tough it out for a couple of years, right? Oh boy, she changed her mind when they put her on death row. Again, she was crying for her mommy. All of this, she blamed on jealousy. Jealousy. She never understood, they said, though, the severity until they told her she was getting first-degree murder and, she was being charged. She thought it was all a game. But still, they said she still had no tears. Again, the only time I saw tears is when she was on death row. Put to death row when the judge told her that. That, she may have had tears sometimes. I don't know. I never saw them yet, but I saw some real crying that day. I want my mommy. I saw some real crying that day, honey. The tears came in court when there was talk of death row. I bet she's crying now. I bet she's been doing nothing but crying since the end of October. Because they gave her that execution date. She's out of time. she's out of chances. She might get a clemency, but I don't know. But she admitted everything. She finally admitted everything in detail, and she confessed enough that prosecutors had a complete, entire case, right? Her own words destroyed any chance of avoiding the death penalty at that point. The interrogation people, they were shocked, and these were very seasoned detectives. They've seen a lot, they've been a lot, they've done a lot. They've seen things that nobody should have to see, but somebody, unfortunately, in this world has to. Everybody has a job in this lifetime. But they said they saw nothing like her, ever. And the judge was not happy either, from what I read. He had a very strong reaction to this case and made it very clear that her attitude and the details of the crime played a huge outcome in what she got. They said throughout trial, the judge noted everything about her. They noted she did not appear remorseful. She did not show grief or guilt. They said she acted calm. Look, I remember seeing her walking in the courtroom smiling and waving. Hey, it's me, big badass. They said she sometimes smirked and appeared very casual. So the judge was not too happy, and the judge was taking note. And I'm sure the jurors took lots of notes, evidently. The judge said her emotionless, she was very flat. It was deeply concerning, and especially for a girl her age, a young girl, facing capital murder charges. He said her effect was cold, and it was like a void. There was no sympathy. She just like had this dark, big hole in her, right? The judge also touched on the Satan stuff, that part of the crime, the prolonged torture, humiliation to Colleen, the cruelty, the intentional, doings, because all this was premeditated and intentional. And the keeping the skull fragment, I guess that was the biggest thing, as a souvenir, as a trophy, is what she told him. He stressed this was not just a murder, it was an act of sadism and torture. The judge said the level of brutality was beyond comprehension. The crime was especially heinous and cruel, and that's coming from the judge. And those things, because she did the things she did, that was the legal part of the aggravating factors that was used on giving her the death penalty. They specifically stated it was premeditated, depraved, prolonged. I told y'all she prolonged it. Physically and mental torture. They also said the suffering that Colleen endured justified the hardest sentence that could be allowed by law. And that turned out to be death. There was a mention of Christina taking the bone and treating it like a trophy, showing it off to others, bragging about what she done. The judge said it was very grotesque and it was a lack of humanity, right? I don't get it, man. I don't get it. She knew right from wrong, I feel. That's exactly why she's sitting on death. No matter what problems she had in her childhood, growing up, her past, her mental state, that's the key. She knew right from wrong. She knew right from wrong. Hey, Justin. Hello, hello, hello. Member for 9 months. I love you. I love you. Ooh, let me put you up here. My hand was about to go to sleep. It took me a second. I'm sitting here shaking the sleep out of my hand. Oh, Lord. And I had to take my right hand to use that's the one that was going to sleep, and I had to take my right hand to click you. I'm kind of glad. Yay, Justin. Woo! Thank you for being a member. I love you, honey. I love you. I know you've heard about this case. God, this girl's got the execution date going, right? So it was all horrible. We're going to watch some videos now. Now that I laid out everything for you, loud and clear. Are we loud and clear? Yes. So let's go ahead. Let me put this right here. Right here. I appreciate all of you being here. Hope everybody's doing okay. Let's see. Okay. Now, these are not in order, remember, but let's see. See what I want to watch. Hold on. Oh, Lord, honey, what do I want to watch? Okay. Let's go with this one. No, I don't want to go with that one. All right, let's go with that one. Sorry. Okay. So let's go with this one. WION. Hold on just a minute. And we're going to watch.
The state of Tennessee is preparing to carry out an execution that is historic, one like it has never seen before. Krista Pike, the only woman on the state's death row, has been scheduled to be executed. The order was passed by court in September 30th. Tennessee Supreme Court announced this sentence on September 30th, and it will be carried out in exactly 1 year, September 30th, 2026. This is a case that shocked the whole nation and is now approaching its final chapter. But what exactly happened? What was the crime that Krista Pike committed? Let's start at the very beginning. Pike was convicted in the shocking 1995 murder of Colleen Slemmer. Now, both were students at a career training program for troubled teens in Knoxville when Slemmer was brutally tortured and killed. But what circumstances led to such a horrific act? What was the motive? According to prosecutors, Pike believed that Slemmer was trying to steal her boyfriend. So with the help of then-boyfriend Tadwell Shipp and a friend, Shadola Peterson, Pike carried out the crime. It was a cold-blooded, gory murder. Court records say that Pike cut Slemmer with a box cutter and she carved a pentagram onto her chest. All of this was carried out over the course of 30 minutes, maybe an hour. The teenager's body was discovered in the woods of the University of Tennessee's campus. A groundkeeper testified that the body was so badly beaten that he had first mistaken it for the corpse of an animal. Shipp, who was just 17 years old at the time of the murder and too young to face the death penalty, was sentenced to life in prison. He is now eligible for parole this November. Peterson, who testified against Pike during the trial, has received probation. But what about Pike? Well, she was the youngest person on Tennessee's death row when she was sentenced in 1996 at the age of just 20. For nearly 30 years, she remained the only woman on the state's death
She was
row.
younger than that.
Now, this was a situation that her lawyers compared to solitary confinement. They filed a lawsuit claiming that this treatment was unconstitutional, and Pike's legal team fought for better conditions. The case ended in a settlement in September last year, which granted her increased access and opportunities for social interaction behind bars. Now, Pike's lawyers face an even greater challenge. They're fighting to have her death sentence commuted. Now, the defense has consistently argued that it is unlikely she would receive a death sentence for the same crime if it were committed by a teenager in today's legal system. The defense has filed a history of Pike's mental illness, and the list includes PTSD, bipolar disorder, congenital brain damage, childhood sexual abuse, abandonment, and neglect. Now, the defense also says that evidence of those issues was not.
Okay, I'm going to stop that right there for a minute because I'm sorry, but I don't think any of that was an excuse for what she did. And again, as we get into this and the more we listen to it, I mean, I don't see how, maybe it's just me, how you couldn't see what I see. She had plenty of sense, okay? I'm just saying. Justin, are you talking to me? Are you going to be talking about Summer Wells' case? Well, I'm listening to everything. I'm listening to everything that's going on and that's happening. I am looking and I am watching. I just don't want to get in the middle of all the bullshit right now. I don't want to do that. But I did speak on her a little bit the other day. I didn't go deep into it. Summer will never leave my heart. I will always put out things on Summer, but I'm not going to go hard on it every day. I'm just not, because we just got enough shit going around in these other cases that are just unbelievable and unbearable right now. But hold on a minute, where'd you go? But I am keeping an eye on it. You can believe that. I'm keeping an eye on it. And I posted, somebody sent me today where Jinkies put up the tree like they do every year. It was a beautiful tree. And Summer is a piece of my heart. I don't know if you heard my new intro song. But I mentioned Summer's name in there. And she'll always be, she's why I come here. Okay? She's why I come here. Sebastian was why I stayed. So, yeah. They just ain't dragging me in a bunch of bullshit. That's all. But I'm watching, and when I feel there's a need to speak on it, I'll speak on it. Because I am me. I am who I am. And I'll do what I feel. I'll do what I feel's right. Yeah, I know, Justin. It's just crazy. And I know you're watching it closely too. I haven't been over. Oh God, you don't even know how busy I've been. I got to have surgery, a little surgery. The 13th, Friday the 13th. Oh my God. It's Friday the 13th. Is it the 12th or 13th? But it's that Friday, next Friday, about one more week. Let's see. Hold on a minute. Lord, don't tell me that's the 13th. No, thank God. For the 12th. The 12th. I started to say, because I'm superstitious, honey. And I don't know. It's just been so hectic and crazy around here. And I've been trying to get some things done. And I've been trying to do all this. But I come across this case and, I just feel it needs to be told. I really do. So I'm going to hit this for a little bit. Also, since you are a member, you can get it on, people can get it, but I put in the members thing, I looked it up and put it in there. God, some of them pages from the courts have over 800 and something pages on this. It's all in there. And there's just more and more and more. And the more you go into it, it's a lot, But yeah, that's kind of where I stand on Summer. I watch it every day. I look, I kind of hear what's going on. I do feel like I will tell y'all that something may happen, but I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of people don't want to be let down either. So I'm just kind of sitting back, watching. I'm in the bushes. I'm back here. I'm here, honey. I'm here. So yeah, that part. And all of y'all anybody who's in Tennessee or can go to Tennessee on Sebastian's birthday on the 7th, Culver's in Clarksville is honoring Sebastian's birthday. And I hope he gets a lot of support. I hope he does. I don't know if I'll get to go because I'm trying to get all this done with setting my surgery and all this stuff up, but get my home life together. But I pray anybody who's able to go goes and is respectful, but I hope they show support for Sebastian, and I hope that they show support to Seth and, just go out and show out, and I really hope if they do, they go out and also thank the employees and everybody who has stopped to put their time into this event, this real event. Okay. His birthday. He should be home having his cake. He should be home having his mom or his dad take him to Culver's, which he liked, and being there to enjoy it himself, honestly. But yeah, so that's where I kind of stand.
Presented at Pike's trial. But if nothing works out and the execution still goes ahead as planned, Pike will be the first woman executed in the state of Tennessee in 200 years. While the Tennessee Department of Corrections says that no definitive records exist of executions that took place in the state before 1900, there is a collection of widely cited independent research on capital punishment in early America. And that data shows that Tennessee has not put a woman to death since the year 1820. If we talk about US overall, the country has executed 18 women since the year 1976. The most recent case of Amber McLaughlin, where she was put to death with a lethal injection in the state of Missouri in January of 2023. Will Pike meet the same fate? We will find out in a year. But if defense succeeds, even before that. That's all we have for you on this episode of Prime Crime. We'll be back next.
So she will be the first person put to death in the state of Tennessee in over 200 years. I mean, wow, right? I mean, so it is a big deal. It is. It's a whole big thing. Why won't this go? What in the world is going on here? I don't know why that credit won't go off of there. Hide. What is YouTube doing, honey? Now it's done got some more different buttons. Lord have mercy. They be changing every day, 24/7. I don't even know what's going on with YouTube. I'm just here for the ride, honey. I don't know what is going on. But yeah. So Christina Pike, she got her execution date, and unless she gets her clemency or something. I just think it's over for her. She's at the end of her road. I do. All right, let's watch something else. Y'all know how I like to do it. I like to be watching my shows at the end. Okay, I like this. I like this one right here. Hold on.
And in this whole video, we are going back. We're going back. Come on. It's the greatest
Right, let's
decade,
see.
the
Hold on, let me turn a
90s,
little
and
bit
we're going to
on
yap
here.
away about a young'un named Krista Pike, the Pikester. Knoxville minus the Johnny, Tennessee is where we're at. Have a gander at what Krista was up to. Here's a hint. Weird
This is,
stuff. And from there, it actually gets
copyright.
even weirder. And it's
Up
like,
in the corner and down
it's like one of
here.
those sagas or something.
Fair use.
Kind of goes on and on and on. It is interesting, though. I'll give her that. You got pentagrams, you got escape plots, and you got us giving it a go. So let's. In Knoxville, Tennessee, where we are today, about 175,000 people lived there back in 1995. One thing in particular, right, that drew all the people, the various people in our story to Knoxville today, is in west Knoxville, there was a Job Corps. Job Corps is a free educational program for people, beyond their school years. Maybe they had difficulty in high school and dropped out, but they wanted to hit the books once again. You have to qualify for it. Mainly it's for people from low-income backgrounds, troubled kids finding their way once more. Now, the Job Corps in Knoxville, it's no longer there. It was torn down quite a while ago because it had kind of a reputation for crime. When they stopped doing the Job Corps in Knoxville, the crime rate in the city lowered. I mean, mainly due to, general crime, drugs issues, mismanagement, and it was shut down in April 1995, the building torn down a couple of decades later. The kind of final straw, right, that broke camel's back. The reason it was actually shut down in April of 1995. Well, we had a good few reasons already, but the major one is the one we'll get into. And so in Knoxville, just off Dale Avenue, that's where our story begins. Or rather, maybe a 20-minute walk from it, but we'll get there. In January 1995. As dawn broke on the 13th of January 1995, a husband and wife were out bobbing along, having a great old time jogging. They were jogging along the trails near the University of Tennessee, the agricultural department, and in some of the more remote trails that go through the woods and the parks. And as they were yapping away that early morning, that crisp early morning, they saw something splattered across the trail. It was unmistakably blood. This was in a more secluded and woody area. They called for a groundskeeper who was working away to come over and have a goo. And across the dead winter leaves, they saw that the blood formed a trail, leading into the grey, thickening trees of the park. Eventually, it led to a very battered and bloody corpse, semi-nude. The police were called and arrived. The crime scene was extensive, muddy, signs of a struggle. Blood and articles of clothing were found strewn about the place, broken foliage, footprints. A large pool of blood was found about 30 feet from the body, like she'd been attacked, managed to fight off her attackers, run, and was then overcome, then dragged over to where she lay. The victim was nude from the waist up, the head bludgeoned and was cut all over, the face mutilated, throat slashed.
Trigger warnings.
And carved into the victim's chests was a pentagram. So yeah, yikes, pentagram. What is this, Rot Barrel it's that bastard all over again. Well, while this was happening, not too far away, over in Kentucky, he was actually having a great time. That's when his vampire clan was, they were having fun, doing their things in their little hut and, whatever, they thought they were cool. But this wasn't vampires. No. This was good old Satanism, always up to no good. Krista Pike was born in March 1976. Virginia, the one on the left. And she didn't always have it easy. Her mother was mad, just absolutely mad about drinking and drugging. Her dad was more mad about just not being around. So kind of, fell to Krista's grandmother to raise her. Krista was, turning into a bright, lovely young woman under the tutelage of her grandmother. However, when Krista was 12,
See, I still say that's no excuse. Everybody has problems. Things happen. And she had choices. I don't care what her background was. What she did was unthinkable. She was the mastermind of this entire thing. And I still say it's no excuse. And, what she did, it's unimaginable. It's just too much. But she knew the difference, in my opinion.
her grandmother passed. And so Krista had to go back to her mother, kind of went, down from there. It was a world of shit. Her mother introduced her to drugs at a very young age. She dropped out of school, was in trouble with the law numerous times for stealing, and eventually ended up in juvie. She was going to change her ways though, and Job Corps was going to be her way to do it. When she was 17, she moved to Knoxville, stayed in the dorms at a Job Corps while studying in the University of Tennessee, and she was, she's planning on becoming a nurse. Or at least that's what her file said. She didn't really have much interest in, hitting the books. She was more interested in hitting the bricks with the lads. At the Job Corps in Knoxville, just off Dale Avenue, Krista met and fell in love with a lad named Tadarrell Shipp. This, would not end well. Tadarrell also had a rough upbringing in Memphis. He had dropped out of school at a very young age, got involved with gangs, but eventually, in an effort to turn things around, he ended up at the Job Corps in Knoxville, studying culinary arts. So he was studying culinary arts, he wanted to become a chef. Very good. And Tadarrell, he was a big fan of Hell's Kitchen. I mean that very literally, by the way. He loved Satanism and the devil, the occult, all that kind of weird shit. Him and Krista really bonded over this. They would have seances and chants and all the other stuff they do. He had a little shrine to the big guy downstairs in his room, and him and Krista would do the opposite of pray in front of it. I don't know. Him and Krista would be doing their chanting and all this other mad shit. People, their neighbors in the dorm would say, "Hey, shut the fuck up." Krista and Tadarrell bonded instantly. They were attached at the hip. They did everything together as she became his little devil. Oh, motherflippin' MG. And so, when another woman named Colleen Slemmer, she entered the picture, that's when this story goes into, it puts the story in fifth. Colleen, she was from Jacksonville, Florida. She didn't have a particularly rough upbringing or anything, and was there to study computer technology. Krista did not like Colleen, as she thought Colleen was trying to steal.
Sorry, y'all. Okay, so yeah, they couldn't be any different. They were different than day and night. Their backgrounds was different than day and night. Was Colleen perfect? No, probably not. But Colleen, from all accounts of everybody speaking and all the research I've done, she really wanted to change her life. People talk, she wanted to change, she wanted to better herself, and that's really what she was doing. That's what she was doing there. And her mother, we'll get into that. I don't know which interview is at. Y'all know me, I can't keep things together. I'm so unorganized. But anyway, her mother's interviews are sad, and her mother really wants Pike, to go be executed quick, fast, in a hurry. She would have had this done a long time ago. But again, remember, she don't even have all of her baby. That's her baby. She don't even have all of her baby. They still, decades later, have a piece of her in holding up, and it's just crazy. It's sad. But no, her and Pike, they were like oil and water. Two different, night and day. I just want to lay that out for you, because going forward, you're going to see totally different. And look at her. I think her smile's genuine. I think she was a down-to-earth girl, didn't know what she was getting into. I think she just wanted friends. And she was lured over under false pretenses. No telling what Pike and them told her. No telling. Just saying.
Daryl away from her. Now, Colleen and all her friends, they denied this, but tried telling Krista that. And so it was in early 1995, after they returned back after the Christmas break, that Krista decided she just wasn't having it. Wasn't having it. And so something had to be done. On the 11th of January, Krista was talking with a friend of hers, a friend named Kim. And Krista told Kim that she was going to kill Colleen because, quote, she just felt mean that day. When I'm feeling mean, I don't replace the toilet paper. So she was really... The next day, the 12th of January, at about 8 p.m, Kim would say she saw Krista, Colleen, Daryl, and another student, Shadala Peterson, who was friends with both Krista and Daryl, and also interested in the old Satanism. The four of them left the Job Corps dorms together. About 2 hours later, she saw Krista, Daryl, and Shadala return. Colleen wasn't with them. Krista, she had lured Colleen out with the promise of puff puff passing the devil's lettuce. And things wouldn't go well. Krista would say she'd only planned on fighting her, bit of a slap around. This was to get her to back off her man, but she would admit to bringing a box cutter. The reason for the fight was, to Daryl, to get her to stay away from her man. But not only that, Krista would say she had once woken up with Colleen standing over her with a knife, and that Colleen had been trying to provoke her, trying to get her kicked out of Job Corps. Shadala Peterson was lookout, and in the woods they fought. Well, I wouldn't say they fought. Krista beat the shit out of Colleen, and Daryl and Krista tortured her. Krista saying she heard voices telling her what to do. She slashed at Colleen with a box cutter, hit her, and when she tried to run, they chased her down and slammed a piece of asphalt into Colleen's head multiple times, fracturing it. That's like the short version of what happened. The entire event lasted about an hour of Krista and Daryl torturing Colleen and eventually killing her. And it was extremely gruesome. Krista slashed and slashed at her chest and neck, while Colleen begged her to stop. And every time she tried to run away, Daryl chased her down. And it took a long time for Colleen to die. Later that night, Krista went to the room of her friend Kim, and she told Kim that she had murdered Colleen, and she was laughing and singing and dancing as she did. Krista also showed Kim a souvenir she had taken. She had taken a piece of Colleen's skull. And so, Colleen was found the very next morning. At breakfast, around the same time as the crime scene was being set up around Colleen's body, Krista was mad to show off her souvenir, having it with her while she ate brekkie. She would also tell and show all of this to another student, saying that's not mud on her shoes, that's blood. How did she get caught? It was one of those students at the Job Corps. They called their mother, and their mother called the police. The investigation into the body that was found in the park, they hadn't even identified it as Colleen, was in full swing. The police found a list at the Job Corps dormitories of people who had checked out and checked in. Colleen only did one of those things. The 3 others who checked out at the exact same time did both. The police spoke to Krista, Taddaral, and Shadala on the 15th of January. During the arrests, they searched the rooms and found the satanic shrine. Krista didn't deny it. In fact, none of them really did.
You know, it's harder to hurt somebody when they're talking to you and you have to see another person. Right. And I told her, shut up. And she was still breathing. I said, Colleen, do you know who's doing this to you? And she was just going, just talking like that. But I don't know what she was saying.
The most shocking thing to the police was the fact that Krista was the mastermind. You'll see it a lot. It's like, oh my gosh, she's such a sweet.
She was the mastermind of all of this. All of it. Angel's face, devil's heart. You know, she was so young. The victim was so young. What in the heck went wrong? Over what? Why? You can hear her voice. She sounds so young. It's ridiculous. And whoever found her, they found her the next day, but they said that it even reminded them of maybe an animal because she was tortured so bad. And the guy, he tried to get himself out of it. She may have been the mastermind, and she may have had the jealousy and planned all this. But in my opinion, hell, he should have got death row as well because, hell, he held Colleen down, and he didn't deny that. What makes it so bad and makes it so sickening, though, is because Krista, in another, I don't know if he's going to show it in here, but there's an interview that I got that I'll be playing throughout this sometime or another. I mean, you heard how she was telling how she was still talking. Then at one point, she grossly says that she should be lucky that she relieved her. You know, she tortured her for almost an hour. And then laughed and bragged about it. Wow. Very awful.
Sweet face. How could she do this? She even walked with investigators through the entire event, where they had dumped Colleen's clothing, where they had taken her IDs off her and dumped them in bins. She walked through, was like, yep, that's there. What else do you want to know? Taddaral, he denied being the one who really did much damage, though he did say he helped carve the pentagram, or the satanic star, as he says.
I thought they just were scared at first from the jump. That's what I thought. But when we got up there, everything changed.
There was a preacher that was cut on the chest. Who did that?
I didn't have that.
All right, don't tell me what it was.
It was satanic stuff.
Shadala told how she'd only been the lookout, and how days earlier, while she was sitting having lunch with Krista and Tadaro, they had spoke about wanting to do a human sacrifice, sacrificing someone to the devil. Colleen made the shortlist. Krista, she would have to think about it twice, you know. They did this to, gain a bit of favor with the devil. That did not work out too well, unfortunately. All three were arrested and charged with first-degree murder.
The brutal murder of 19-year-old Colleen Slemmer created fear and speculation among students and staff Friday. Knoxville police quickly dispelled any myths about the case with a break in their investigation.
It did not involve a university student. It did not occur on the bike trail. It was not a random or a stranger-to-stranger incident.
Police say the murder suspects were close.
This Jobs Corps seemed like they were trying to definitely distance themselves as well. But, I think there should have been signs. Wow. Does anybody take accountability for anything anymore? They definitely try to distance themselves. Those words. It didn't happen here. This wasn't done there. Oh well. Freakish.
Close to the victim.
The motive of the crime appears to be a love triangle. It appears that both of the females involved had been involved with the 17-year-old male.
The victim's partially dressed body was found in this brushy area Friday morning. An autopsy confirmed she was slashed repeatedly with a meat cleaver and some other small cutting device, perhaps a razor blade or box opener. Authorities say she was then beaten over the head with a large chunk of asphalt from this pile.
Krista went on trial in March 1996. Shadala, who was really seen as someone who just got sucked in, she turned state's witness during Krista's trial. The prosecution, well, they had everything really. They had admitted it, and they had everything relating to how barbaric the crime was and how Krista kept part of the skull.
The injuries that Krista Pack caused to be inflicted upon Colleen Slemmer are almost beyond description.
It was at this location that Colleen Slemmer was actually pleading for her life, and Krista Pack showed her no mercy. The body of Colleen Slemmer ended up in this general area right over here.
She was dancing around in a circle.
Who was dancing around in the circle?
Krista.
Dancing around the circle while she was telling you about this?
Yes.
Was she doing anything else?
She was smiling.
Making any other noises or anything?
She was kind of singing la la la.
The defense, well, she came from a broken home. She had a lot of issues. She had organic brain injury, bipolar disorder, and post-traumatic stress disorder. It was on the 22nd of March 1996, after just a couple of hours deliberation, that Krista was found guilty of both first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder. She was sentenced to death, becoming the youngest woman to be sentenced to death. Something else she had in common with Rod Ferrell, besides the occult stuff and the gruesome murders, being really one of the youngest people to be sentenced to death. Right? A match made in hell.
It is therefore ordered that you shall be put to death by electrocution in the mode prescribed by law, and that you shall be transferred to the custody of the warden at the Tennessee Prison for Women. And further, on the 12th day of January 1997, your body shall be subjected to shock by sufficient current of electricity. May God have mercy upon you. Mr. Bates,
can I please have a mom before I go?
Mr. Bates, please hold this pipe in the dock.
Please, let me just find my mom.
Please hold this pipe in the dock.
I love you.
That's when she cried.
But yeah, that's pretty rough when she was actually sentenced. Although, like, any sympathy I would have for her, you can just read into what she did to Colleen, and your sympathy. And then, check this out, right? Days after she was sentenced to death by electrocution, she sent this letter to Daryl. Now, it was intercepted before it got to him. She doesn't feel too bad about it, though. She's like, sure, shit happens. Hey, love, I just want you to know how much I love you. I have 10 months left to live. Imagine that. I'd spend every moment with you if I could. Please write me. I miss you so much. You see what I get for trying to be nice to a hoe? I went ahead and bashed her brains out so she'd die quickly instead of letting her bleed to death and suffer more. And they fucking fry me. Ain't that some shit?
There it is.
Ain't that some shit indeed, Krista. As I said, this was right after she was sentenced to All Sparky. Daryl received life with the possibility of parole after 25 years. He was 17 years old when the event happened. Krista was 20, so...
I told y'all she said that.
Shidala received
Evil
probation
bitch.
for 6 years as she helped the prosecution. Now, the story doesn't end there, though.
I'm 22 years old, and this is it for me. And there's just so much more that I wanted to do with my life than just sitting in a room by myself 23 hours a day. I should be out going to school or working and having fun with my friends. That's my mom and my stepdad. My cat Tigger, I just love him. I love my dog Ed. These are the only kind of stuffed animals we can have because we can't have the ones that are stuffed with things in them. They think we might hide something in there. Well, breakfast is at about 6:30. Then I get up when it's time to go outside and exercise. Come back in and go to the shower. Come back, and I'm in here for the rest of the day until I go outside tomorrow.
She's still on death row, 25 years later. But in prison, she's been pretty busy. So fair play to her. She appealed, changed her mind, stopped appealing, appealed again. She tried to get new trials, womp womp on that count. She requested to have her execution date sped up.
There is nobody that's going to take me out of this prison and send me to Disneyland to live. It's okay, Mommy.
But then would have her attorneys file arguments against setting a date. She's just taking the piss at this stage, like. She's still behind bars and will be. In 2001, she attempted to murder again. Once you pop, you can't stop, am I right? A friend of hers in prison, a killer, started clashing with another prisoner, also a killer. And so, when in August 2001 a fire broke out in the prison, the three of them were placed together. Krista, she kind of had enough of it. She's sick of them like battering each other, so she got the shoelace out, started choking the other one. Guards discovered and stopped. But she got convicted of that. That was another 25 years for her, though she was on death row.
Look at that smile.
She gave a shit. And then in 2012, she attempted to break out of prison. Gas woman. Two men who obviously had the hots for her. One of them a former prison guard at the very prison Krista was in. The other fella, someone who had started writing to her. And well, he wanted her out. The plot was discovered before it got too far, and they've never actually revealed details of what they were actually going to do, but I think it involved bribing guards. It's a terrible idea.
I think I deserve to be in here for the rest of my life. I do, I know I do. I know I don't deserve to be out walking around with everybody else in normal society. I did something horrible that is unacceptable, and I realize that. But I don't deserve to die for the actions of 3 individuals when I'm only one person.
Krista Pike remains the only woman on death row in Tennessee, and as recently as 2020, an execution date was requested for her, 24 years after she got it. Extensions had always been given, her attorneys always filing arguments against setting a date. Not anymore, I guess. But no date has been set to date.
But now it has. This was made a while
The
back.
state of Tennessee is looking to set an execution date for death row inmate Krista Pike. Defense lawyers say it's too early to set an execution date, arguing the Tennessee Supreme Court should commute her death sentence. The lawyers filed papers before the state's highest court yesterday. It's in response to the Tennessee Attorney General's office, who says Pike has exhausted all appeals options. Pike is the only woman on the state's death row.
She is now 45 years old. She was 19 when it happened. So she's now spent more of her life behind bars.
They can never get her age right. Lord
And
have
so
mercy.
ends this one. It turns out, Krista should have spent a little less time hanging out in the school, showing off a piece of skull of a person. She had just murdered this person, bashed her brains in, literally, and taken a piece of the skull. She probably should have spent like a little less time showing that off, and a bit more time, I don't know, being like what I was like in school, playing football, talking up hot chicks. What? It could have happened. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate taking the time to be here with me. Here, go on. I'll see you as always real soon in the next old video. Until then, please look after yourself.
So y'all got to hear a little piece of her, a piece of her letters, which was horrible and was intercepted before they got to the prisoner. I don't even think you're supposed to be writing other prisoners. I don't think it was so much what the letter said. I think it's other prisoners are not supposed to be writing other prisoners, okay? She stayed most of her time in lockup, 23 hours a day, for years, decades. And she don't think she deserves to take the punishment that everybody else should also get, basically. I don't think she's took any accountability. She's tried to escape. She tried to kill somebody else in prison with a shoestring, no less. They say where there's a will, there's a way. We'll get into all the reasons why on that, on another live, because there is, again, so much to this case. It's so much. And it needs to be put out there, and it needs to remind everybody. And she may look like a child. She may have been a child, but let me show y'all something. Hold on a minute. Let's see how I can do this. I don't know how to do it while I'm on here. Is that me? Let's see. Hold on a minute. Let me see something. All right, y'all see my thing up here, right? All right, so let me see if I can do this. I hope I put it over here. Just hold on. My happy snoring. Happy snoring. All right, that's her. I didn't. My God, I didn't. Where is that one of her? Oh my God, there is one of her. Maybe it's in one of these videos. All right, I was going to change it. Never mind. But if you see, maybe, hold on a minute. Hold on. Okay, that's the one we just watched. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute, y'all. Why I got two of those up here? Oh, okay. All right, hold on. Let me see if I can share this. It may be in here. I don't know. Lord have mercy. I don't think I can open it. Maybe I can. Okay. Hopefully y'all can see that. Also though, this is her death thing. This was stamped September 30th, 2025, and it was filed with the appellate courts. I did want to show y'all this. In the Supreme Court of Tennessee at Nashville State of Tennessee versus Krista Gale Pike, complaint court number, blah, blah, blah. And then the order, the state of Tennessee filed a motion to set an execution date for Christina Gale Pike, stating that Miss Pike had completed the standard. Okay, so she had 3 entire appeals process and requesting that an execution date be set in accordance with Tennessee Supreme Court rule. Okay. Pike asked the court to deny the motion and to issue a certificate of commutation to the governor. And then it has all these codes and stuff. Hold on, where's it at? After a careful review of the response of the documentation and stuff, they decided that wasn't going to happen. Hold on a minute. Is this the one? I don't think this is the one. Hold on. Let me read something. Okay. No later than August 28, 2026, the warden or his designee shall notify Miss Pike. Okay, so this is one she's already filed again, I guess. Wait, her execution date is, what was it? September 26th. Okay, so they have to do all this. Why does it say August? I thought it was September. What's going on here? Hold on. Well, anyway, they got her for, hold on a minute. Let's see, hold on a minute. Okay, no, they said that, September 30th, 2025. Okay, it was September 30th, 2025, when they said she'll be unalived on September 30th, 2026. Okay, so that's her date. What does this say? Why does it say August 28th? August, September. Okay, so yeah, she's got to have all of her stuff in, I guess, by then. This is not what I wanted to show y'all, though. Where did that go? All right, hold on. I want to look at something. I think we'll watch this another day, but there's pictures of her when she was a kid. Hold on. There's the victim. There's Colleen. Beautiful young girl. Didn't deserve any of this. There's something I want to show you. Let's see. We saw that. Wow. Victim. Okay, she's crying there. She was crying there when they gave her death. She was crying for her mommy there. You know, she realized everything that was going on. I believe this one right here, she got probation. And I think she's been scrubbed from the internet. I can't find any much information on her. If anybody has any updates or information on her, if you could email it to me at the smileystory2, the number 2, at yahoo.com. I'm just interested, even if I don't put it out, I'm interested to find out what's become of this one right here. She rolled over on both of them. Okay, hold on. See how she's smiling in all of her. Okay, so she got 25 more years added for attempted murder of another inmate. Here's the information right here. I don't need to read all of it. She already had a death sentence hanging over her head, and Krista Gale Pike was sentenced to serve 25 more years for trying to take the life of another inmate in the Tennessee prison for women. You know, she was 28 at that time. I mean, you have to read this stuff. It's so much of it that, you know, how all that come about and everything. And again, we could listen. I'm trying to find something. I want to find something. I'm trying to show y'all, and I don't know where I put it. There's the mom and her baby. Oh my God, they look so much alike. They look so much alike right there. That poor mother. And we'll get into in the next few days the interviews with her mom. Oh, heart-wrenching. I don't know what I did with that. Okay, there's no need for that. We might have watched, I don't know. Let's just watch this. This one's 4 minutes. But I'm trying to find something and I don't know what I did with it. She's about to fry. I think she is too. I think she's about to fry. I think she is definitely at the end of her road. I think she's definitely out of time. Let me see. Let's play this. I think I played it in the beginning. Let's play it. I don't know why I'm getting double of every... Oh, probably because of my double setup. I don't know. It's weird. All right, let's play this again for those that didn't hear it. Up, trigger.
The state of Tennessee is preparing to carry out
we saw
an
this earlier.
execution
We're gonna watch it again.
that is historic.
4 minutes.
One like it has never
I'm gonna
seen
try to
before.
find that. What I'm looking for.
Krista Pike, the only woman on the state's death row, has been scheduled to be executed. The order was passed by court in September 30th. Tennessee Supreme Court announced the sentence on September 30th, and it will be carried out in exactly 1 year, September 30th, 2026. This is a case that shocked the whole nation and is now approaching its final chapter. But what exactly happened? What was the crime that Krista Pike committed? Let's start at the very beginning. Pike was convicted in the shocking 1995 murder of Colleen Slemmer. Now, both were students at a career training program for troubled teens in Knoxville when Slemmer was brutally tortured and killed. But what circumstances led to such a horrific act? What was the motive? According to prosecutors, Pike believed that Slemmer was trying to steal her boyfriend. So with the help of then-boyfriend Tadderell Shipp and a friend, Shadola Peterson, Pike carried out the crime. It was a cold-blooded, gory murder. Court records say that Pike cut Slemmer with a box cutter and she carved a pentagram onto her chest. All of this was carried out over the course of 30 minutes, maybe an hour. The teenager's body was discovered in the woods of the University of Tennessee's campus. A groundkeeper testified that the body was so badly beaten that he had first mistaken it for the corpse of an animal. Shipp, who was just 17 years old at the time of the murder and too young to face the death penalty, was sentenced to life in prison. He is now eligible for parole this November. Peterson, who testified against Pike during the trial, has received probation. But what about Pike? Well, she was the youngest person on Tennessee's death row when she was sentenced in 1996 at the age of just 20. For nearly 30 years, she remained the only woman on the state's death row. Now, this was a situation that her lawyers compared to solitary confinement. They filed a lawsuit claiming that this treatment was unconstitutional, and Pike's legal team fought for better conditions. The case ended in a settlement in September last year, which granted her increased access and opportunities for social interaction behind bars. Now, Pike's lawyers face an even greater challenge. They're fighting to have her death sentence commuted. Now, the defense has consistently argued that it is unlikely she would receive a death sentence for the same crime if it were committed by a teenager in today's legal system. The defense has filed a history of Pike's mental illness, and the list includes PTSD, bipolar disorder, congenital brain damage, childhood sexual abuse, abandonment, and neglect. Now, the defense also says that evidence of those issues was not presented at Pike's trial. But if nothing works out and the execution still goes ahead as planned, Pike will be the first woman executed in the state of Tennessee in 200 years. While the Tennessee Department of Corrections says that no definitive records exist of executions that took place in the state before 1900, there is a collection of widely cited independent research on capital punishment in early America. And that data shows that Tennessee has not put a woman to death since the year 1820. If we talk about US overall, the country has executed 18 women since the year 1976. The most recent case of Amber McLaughlin, where she was put to death with a lethal injection in the state of Missouri in January of 2023. Will Pike meet the same fate? We will find out in a year, but if defense succeeds, even before that. That's all we have for you on this episode of...
Okay, I found what I was looking for. Okay, so let me see here. Jesus Lord. Okay, so all through her mugshots, all through everything, her court, of course, she was a young little girl. And I mean, I said she was very pretty to me. I think she was, even as she got older. But I want to show y'all what this damn death row will do to a person. And you definitely do not want to be here. Look at this. Hold on. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. So that's what that will do to you. And, you know, that's where your evilness will get you. That's where your jealous will get you. You hadn't heard of this one? We're going to be talking about it a little bit, Carol. Yeah, it happened in Knoxville. You know, she killed Colleen in 95. And see, the thing is, it's kind of historical, because if she gets, you know, electrocuted or murdered or however they do it there, however she's supposed to be, you know, an eye for an eye, whatever, it's going to be the only woman in Tennessee in 200 years. And she was the first woman, I think, on death row that was underage. They kept her locked up for 23 hours a day for decades. But she had no remorse. She was pure evil. Evil. And I don't think she still does. The only time you see tears is when it's for her. When reality was hitting and setting in. That's what I believe. She tried to escape. She's tried to kill somebody else. I mean, she sure ain't trying to get out. She may act like it. She may be trying to file all the papers and stuff, but she sure ain't, her actions ain't showing it. I mean, it's not like she grew up a kid in there and, you know, she knows when to cry and say, I should be in school. And then she knows when to write them tough letters and talk about how grateful everybody should be because she didn't let her suffer any longer after letting her suffer and torturing her for about an hour. and your background, I don't care what you grew up in. I don't care what happened to you. That's why they call it break the chains. You know, there's no excuse for anyone to go this route. There's no reason. Everybody has a choice. You drink a beer, you're an alcoholic, you have a choice before it, while it's in your hand, going up to your mouth, pouring it down your throat, to stop at your mouth and put it down, throw it away. That drug, you have a choice as your hand. No. And I know. Everybody's torn. I'm not torn. I'm not torn at all. I think she's at the end of her road. I think you're right about that. And like that paper said earlier, an angel's face in a devil's body, you know. I mean, that's basically what she was and what she is. I don't think she's changed. Turn this music off. Okay. So, yeah, I don't think she's changed. I don't think she will change. I think she has a lot of repenting to do. I'm not God. I'm not a doctor. I don't know what's wrong with her. I don't know who will give her forgiveness and who won't. I just think it's a very interesting case, and I think, in my opinion, she's got a lot to work on, and I still don't think to this day, I don't think she's sorry. You know? Will she get any stays? Will she get any emotions? I don't know. I think this time it's the end. The end. We'll be digging a little bit deeper, piece by piece, because this story doesn't just end, and it's not really resolved if you look at it. So all I can say is be prepared. We're going to go down it. We're going to go through it together. Be prepared. More's coming. More truth, more questions. There's a lot of questions. More answers. We'll get them. This will be a little series, I guess. I don't know. I'm just me, and I'll do what I do. And I hope each and every one of you come and join it every time and learn about this case. Because I think by sooner than this time next year, less than a year, she just may be gone. So I think a lot more talk is going to start surrounding it. It's just coming out again because they just announced this the very end of October, 1st of November, a month ago. You know, but we'll dig into it. Just hang in there. I'm going to play my new song out. I love it. I can't help it. I love it. If I have to say so myself. I thank each and every one of you for coming in. Please make sure you hit that thumbs up. And tomorrow sometime I will have another live, probably during the day. And many prayers out to everybody who needs them. Stay safe. Let's go.
She was born and bred in Nashville, but she walks the beaches down in Florida sand. Her mother and wife, a daughter, a sister, trying hard to do the best she can. She found her voice with a heavy heart, looking for purpose with trembling hands. Giving this all a new start, moving ahead, speaking for ones who came. She says, I am who I am, I'll stand my ground. Even when the nights get long and rough, you'll hear my sound. She'll be speaking for the ones unheard, 'cause she's got a caring heart that won't be turned. Her mama fought cancer while she was searching, stories that needed a gentle voice. We saw summer's name and felt the heart weak and tried to bring light where there was no choice. And when she heard us Sebastian, her sadness rose. She prays for truth through the noise. She'll follow wherever the story goes, seeking their dignity, a child's joy.
I love y'all. Good night. Thank you for being here. Thumbs up. Bye.